Hey, greetings, folks. We're getting ready to get started. So I did this last week, and I don't want that to happen again. You can't turn your phone while you're live. Well, I'm doing it. Okay. Now we're not gonna do this right now. Hey there, how are ya? Are you in Lana? Yeah.
I can't tell, those bars are up.
Okay. Hold on 1 second, guys. How are you? Let's see. Okay. Can you hold this for me?
Absolutely.
Hey guys, we're live. We're just trying to get some things settled. I transitioned my look at the last minute. That's going to teach me. Got to be more careful. So let me push it back.
Maybe slide this back.
Matter of fact, I want your thing.
Yeah, this might work. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can turn it sideways too if you want to hold it like that.
Nice.
And it kind of bends to whatever you need it to do.
But I'm trying to think.
But we need it to be firm.
Hey, y'all. Maybe this way.
So here.
You think?
But then she's not going to be in the shot, really, is she?
I can when you ask me a question.
Can y'all see yourselves from here? Can you see?
Yes! Ha! Yes! Ha! Y'all, let me tell y'all about when a dream and a team come together. Okay? Y'all know I'm loud. I get to be loud on here. I said it. On my other show, I'm more reserved. I'm more.
Of course, right?
Alright.
Can you see it?
Yup.
This is $5 at Five Below. And we're Five Below. Are you kidding me?
Hey guys, sorry we had to get some things straightened with the camera. I hope y'all forgive me. Y'all still love me, don't you?
You're so silly. I'll scoot over. That's good.
Oh no, I don't want to turn it back around. I'll get it back. Oh, there we go.
And then slide the comments out the way.
Okay, there we go. Somebody know what they doing. Somebody need to be on my production team.
It's not me.
Okay, yes. All right, listen, y'all. It's your girl, Jaja. You're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You already know what time it is. It is Thankful Thursdays, and I thank God, Allah, the trees, the motherland, and everything else for waking me up this morning. I ain't in nobody's hospital, and I ain't in nobody's jail, okay? And I got the activities of my limbs and my right mind. I am honored, grateful, and have immense pleasure of sitting next to these beautiful Nubian princes, queens, gorgeous goddesses, empress. I don't know what you want to call them, but she a doctor and she a guru. Okay? So listen, I have the honor of having with me, okay, Dr. Lana Coxton. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yet.
Okay, well, not yet. She an honorary. Somebody need to give her an honorary doctorate.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we
Yes.
go ahead and call her a doctor.
There
Because ain't
you
nobody
go.
got time to be playing no games.
Right?
And then we got the beautiful Miss Rachel Newsom, the wellness coach. Listen, let me tell you something. She gonna get you together. She gonna have you stretching like you ain't never stretched before.
I need to stretch.
I mean, all your parts is gonna be art. Listen, when I tell you, when I tell you it's a beautiful thing, it's a beautiful thing. But listen, I just want to thank you both for being here with me today on Yeah, I Said It.
It's a pleasure.
And with the life that we're living, we know that times are changing. Times are changing. Food is changing. How people receive you are changing. Just how life in general, it's evolving with technology.
It is.
But it's not evolving in our lifestyles. And so we've become fast food people because we're on the go.
That's not food.
Yeah, it's not.
It's definitely not.
It's not food.
We become very impatient.
Yes.
Yep.
We want things quick, fast, and in a hurry. Microwave. We want relationships and everything that takes time. We want it much faster.
Instantly. Yep.
We want instant gratification instead of delayed gratification, which, like we were talking earlier before the cameras were rolling, is you want to be, you want longevity in what you're doing. You want to follow your passion and things that you thoroughly enjoy, opposed to things that may possibly hinder you and hinder your growth.
Yeah.
So we're going to get right into it, okay? Listen, now, first and foremost, I forgot to get my Instagram people on, so I'm going to have to go get my Instagram people because you know they be wanting to know, why are you on? So I'm about to get them together right now too, y'all. So just in case they want to be a part, and I got to make sure that I get them too, so you know what I'm saying, I don't discriminate, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to put this right here. Let me see. Put this low right there. Maybe that'll help. So, no, that ain't gonna work. So, anyway, I'm gonna just hold it. So, hey, you
Well,
live.
try to stick it in the thing right there.
What thing, right here?
Yeah. Or just stick it. Can you? There you go. Well, turn it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about that. Just like that. Boom. Problem solved. So, we gonna get right into it.
All right.
Oh, we still live on here? Okay. Girl, they just don't want me to be. They don't want me to. It's live TV, y'all. Y'all get live on Raw and Cut.
I know, right?
So look, let's get right into it. Canada just ran out of weed. Did y'all know that? Canada. They approved the cannabis law, and they are allowing individuals to have free to smoke their marijuana. Now, you all are, I don't know what the proper term would be. Correct me if I'm wrong. Herbalist.
I'm a herbalist.
I'm a clinician.
Okay, clinician. Okay, and you both discuss and are knowledgeable and talk to people about the importance of herbs being a part of your diet, greens, leafy foods, and different things of that nature. What is your take on cannabis?
Well, for me as a clinician, my background is as a clinical dietitian. I'm also a nutrition support clinician. So I have a background working the ICU, rounding with the medical team. So in a hospital setting, if I am your dietitian, unfortunately, you may not be able to eat on your own. You may be mechanically ventilated, where you have to be fed via tube feeding. Or if your GI tract isn't working, then you may have to be fed via your vein, which is called TPN, or total parenteral nutrition.
Okay.
Now, for my patient population in the clinical setting, if there's an issue with intake, if you have a patient maybe with cancer and they have a decrease in appetite, there is a medication called Marinol. And it is an FDA-approved medication, and it's derived from marijuana and in pill form. And I believe it's also in liquid form. Our pharmacists out there, you can certainly hit me up. Hey, pharmacists out there, especially the ones I work with in the ICU setting and where I am now. But at any rate, that medication, the two that are used in the clinical setting to increase the appetite, one is Marinol, which is derived from THC or derived from marijuana, and then the other one is called Maygase. So from my vantage point as a clinician, when they have an issue with their appetite, one of those medications is often recommended, especially with me being the eyes and ears of whether they're receiving the nutrition, and I'll often speak with the medical team and say, hey, can we add Marinol? Marinol sometimes is my go-to. It doesn't work as fast as Maygase, but I like Marinol because Maygase can increase the risk of DVT, so we often go with Marinol depending on the physician and the patient and what medical issues they may be experiencing at that time, besides just trying to increase the appetite.
Yeah, so it's other ways of fixing your appetite.
That's what I have to say.
What's your take on it,
As
Rachel?
far as cannabis, I am not a consumer of that, but however, I've heard of people's review on just the THC
Okay.
And the more medicinal use of it, and like,
not the recreational.
Right. The more medicinal, where they have oils for the skin. If you have achy joints and skin issues, they have obviously they have a little more versions of edible cannabis that is still for medicinal purposes and not just recreation. So I've heard people had some great reviews about it. Older people are starting to use it versus the medications, the synthesized medications that's being pumped out. A lot of older people I've come across are starting to turn to cannabis oils and things like that. So, I mean, I don't have a negative view on it, just as long as you're not abusing it.
Right. And a lot of people overindulge. We've become a country and a people that overindulge. We like it, we love it, and we just gonna keep doing it. And I know that one of the things that I was talking to a physician about is that when you overindulge with recreational use of marijuana, what it does is it prematurely ages your brain. And then you become forgetful on things that you should be remembering. So for those young people out there and older people that are smoking weed every day, 5-6 blunts a day and all that kind of stuff, you're aging your brain. So just do it in moderation. Everything is in moderation. Don't abuse the ability to use it if it can harm you. It is going to have the negative effects.
Absolutely.
It's one thing for you to get that high and to be calm or whatever the case may be, or where you just want to do it. But you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're older than what you are.
And it becomes an addiction. And that's the issue, too, because you're still dealing with, until they make it legal.
Yeah.
It's still considered a controlled substance.
Yeah.
But from the medical side of it, there was a study that was just recently published, and I don't have all the information, but any of your viewers, I can get that information to them. And there was a connection with overuse, in some individuals, overuse of cannabis, marijuana, and of course, mainly was looking at the use of smoking it, not the application of it, like the application of it, but this was actually smoking it, inhaling it. And it mentioned some type of physiological aspect occurring with the pancreas. So as a clinician, when I hear the pancreas, I perk up like, wait a minute, what's going on? Obviously, the pancreas is a very important organ, like all of our organs, but it has specific functions like the liver does. But when I saw that, it was very startling. So anyone that would like information about that study, just let me know.
Absolutely, that's absolutely amazing. And I definitely want to. I know I got a problem, right? I'm like my mama, like, okay, I just gotta fix it. So I just want to switch it up for a little bit. Both of you, do you have children, Doctor?
I do.
Okay.
So funny.
And you have a son,
little
Roger. And I have a son.
You guys look so young. I'm a grandmother sitting up here. So.
Girl, are you?
You look amazing.
Girl, yes, black don't crack. Yes, none of this popping. Girl, this is what happens on y'all. I said it before. I take it back. I'm gonna add more to it, and I know you heard me the first time, child. You is fine, girl. What your name is? Doctor.
You know what?
Okay. Yes. Now, with that being said, they just found 63 more infants at a funeral home.
Yeah.
And you all work in the medical field, in the wellness field, the nutrition field. And a part of being healthy is not just physically being healthy, but mentally being healthy as well.
Absolutely.
These families, and this is a duality issue. The duality of the issue is you have people who have premature births, stillborns, which was a lot of these bodies, and then you have people who have a consultation for their funeral arrangements and never come back for the bodies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so this is prevalent in a lot of funeral homes where our loved ones die for whatever reason. And so we meet with them to create the plan. And because of whatever reason, financial, whatever the case may be, we don't follow through on that. what's your take on that? I mean, we got 63 babies, a funeral home that of course is not running off air, and so then you have people who are upset, but you left the babies because you couldn't afford to have the service, and so what do you do with that?
Oh, for me, just hearing about it, the first time I heard about it was actually last week with the Cantrell situation. Yeah. That one was mortifying.
Because that was in the ceiling.
Yeah, it was literally in the ceiling. But recently learning of the newer situation that has occurred, it was said that a lot of times it was the coroner had no space for the bodies, and so they delivered them to the funeral home, and there weren't too many arrangements already set up with the funeral home to even facilitate holding. Even though they were properly storing the remains, it was the communication between the coroner and that funeral home. But when it comes to the families not knowing what to do or not having the financial means to take care of the situation, I feel like there should be some type of government assistance or some type of government program in place where if the bodies are not disposed of properly, if they're not buried or cremated or whatever the case is, something has to happen where those remains are cremated and then properly disposed of, and then that allowing the funeral home to have space to do their services. And then family members knowing that, their loved ones were properly disposed of.
Absolutely.
But just having all of these remains laying around, it's something.
It's definitely a challenge because my brother and my mother were both cremated, and my mother had a PEG tube. And it didn't come out in the appropriate amount of time to be switched out, and so she ended up getting an infection, ended up getting sepsis.
She got a lung infection. I'm so sorry.
And so you have these people who have these health challenges, these premature births, these health challenges, and they're not listening to their bodies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, a lot of times our senses are so dulled down by what we've consumed via eating it, putting it on our skin, the environment that we're in. We don't have the clarity, even in our minds, to listen to or understand what's happening with our bodies. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of conversations being had to identify that. Hey, do you know what's happening with your body?
Yes.
Can you identify the sensations or the feelings or just the thoughts that's permeating in your body? Like, if you don't have any resource to help you identify that, you will never know. You don't know what you don't know.
It's unfortunate too because, and like you said, that's very true that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
our people
like
perish.
Yeah,
I know, right? Our people perish due to lack of knowledge, right? So it's the lack of knowledge that can be unfortunate. But lack of resources, like you said, it can be huge because if you don't know. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Pancreatic cancer, for example. We talked about the pancreas a moment ago. And with pancreatic cancer, it can be asymptomatic. Doesn't mean the tumor isn't growing.
So when you say asymptomatic, what does that mean?
No symptoms.
So you could be sick
and not even know. And there are a few medical conditions that are life-threatening.
Okay.
Life-threatening. Okay. That can go on for some time and you not even realize you have it. Diabetes is one, hypertension is another one, and some of these cancers. And celiac disease, which that's a whole show in itself. And it's area of expertise, right, guys? So
yes.
But those are in itself conditions that can often be asymptomatic, and especially us as moms, right?
Yeah.
We're going about our day, we're doing this, we're doing that, and we may say, yeah, I'm a little tired, but I'm tired because I've been working so much.
Yeah.
We don't realize we're tired because maybe we're anemic because maybe there's cancer, or maybe we're anemic because maybe there's celiac disease or some other type of autoimmune condition or condition affecting us, and we don't realize it. So it's a matter of, if there is something, you definitely have to follow up with your healthcare provider and make sure that the resource is there to go to your healthcare provider before something exacerbates. It gets worse.
Yeah.
And at that point, it becomes a chronic condition.
Yeah, I say you have to be proactive in your health.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to be, I don't care what you may experience or even if you feel fine, still go in and check because you never know. You never know what's lying dormant.
That's right. Yeah.
So to people that don't go to the doctor, people who are afraid of the doctor or afraid of knowing or finding out something that they don't want to know, what do you say say to those people, because my son's aunt just went to, she's at the hospital now, I think, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Shout out to Franchelle,
Hey, girl.
She was suffering with fibroid tumors.
Okay.
And she took it on as she was just being tired. She took it on as, I'm doing too much. Like most moms. You made such a big point about, mothers out there, especially single mothers that are playing double role. They trying to be mama, daddy, grandma, them, and everybody else. And they trying to help everybody else and provide for everybody else and live for everybody else except for taking care of themselves. They're usually the last person that they care about. Or take heed to what's going on until it has exacerbated, until it has gotten worse, and now you're at the hospital.
Exactly.
Because you've had warning signs. What are some warning signs or some things that people need to look out for, or to help prevent when you are dealing with something? What do you need to look out for, and then 2, how do you need to prevent it?
For me as a clinician, I like family history.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I always speak with my clients about. What's your family history? Why do you need to know that? Tell me anyway.
Yeah.
What is your family history? Family history can tell you a lot, because now we're dealing with genetic predisposition. Right? And sometimes when you talk about
genetic predisposition. Listen, you're listening to I said it before. I take it back. I'm gonna add more to it. I got future Dr. Lana Coxton in the building. I got the wellness coach Rachel Newsom in the building. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to I said it. And listen, we're talking about just women. As well as men, taking care of themselves first before they're trying to take care of everybody. And we got about 5-6 phones going on at the same time. So if you see me looking around, we're looking at all of those positions. But just, you were talking about family history and knowing where you come from, knowing what you are connected to in your bloodline.
I like that, connected to in the bloodline. That's amazing. I love that. I'm going to use that.
Yes, listen, you're more than welcome. Just remember, we got to.
I got to do your props. I got to do it.
Now, Rachel, what would you say? Because you are opening the door to, you both are, but you're more so in the medical field, and you are too. But you're opening the eyes of a lot of people in our culture. The people in our culture who think yoga's for white people, or having a balanced or nutrition diet is for the wealthy, or those that have the money to get certain things. What do you say to that?
All lies. No. Honestly, to kind of go back just a second, when you are identifying things that's happening with your body, like you said, going to the family history. For me, learning somebody's family history will tell you what traditions they have been participating in. Even more so than what's in their DNA. Okay. Because your habits contribute to your rituals. And your rituals are what... I'm telling you. Girl. Your rituals are what makes up who you are and what you do.
Because they'll be eating chitlins every holiday. Y'all eat the hot sauce on everything.
And if you have a predisposition, going back to the family
dynamic of it,
it all ties in.
It definitely
so the genetic
ties
predisposition and those rituals, they tie in.
Girl,
the rituals can make the...
Yo, I got these queens up here kicking out. I need y'all to go tell somebody to go log in right now, because they is giving you some fire. I told you they was going to drop some jewels. Now, I didn't know they was just going to drop big boulders. Okay?
We dropping crystals.
I feel like I want to just go get reborn again with all of this knowledge.
I mean, you do it every day. You rebirth who you want to be and what you want to do every day. Every time you close your eyes at night, set the intention that when you arise the next day, that you want to be better. You want to be. You want to birth.
It's a new day.
Yeah, I'm around so much energy that's so positive. I mean, like, this is just amazing. You guys need to go get you some doctor wellness friends. These are mine.
We can be yours too.
Yeah, you can.
You share.
All right. Sharing is caring.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
You're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. Now, I want to talk about natural remedies versus pharmaceuticals. Because we just had reports from Crime and the D that there was a pharmaceutical company that was a $20 million opiate distribution whole situation. They were giving out. They sold over 647 1,000 pills. And right now, opiate is the new alert, you know, because this culture, this ethnicity is suffering from it the most. They didn't care that much when crack was invading our communities and hurting our families and stealing our children.
Substances.
And so now we have this big opiate, we got to help, you know, with this problem. And so you have these natural remedies, which you both believe in, lethy foods and just health foods, and then versus pharmaceuticals, which some are helpful, but they come with so many warning signs,
and side effects.
Most people who watch my show and my podcast, as well as you guys and what you do, you see the commercials and it says, get you some Federal or something. And then at the end of the commercial, like, side effects, low blood sugar, might pass out, diarrhea, bleeding from the eyeballs and the ears. You may not be able to have kids.
Hair loss, everything.
Yeah, so death, ultimately, and even death. And so it says it real fast, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
And so what do you say about that, Rachel? Because you're very holistic. You definitely deal with a lot of homemade remedies, a lot of things that are from the earth, which of course we know was the first medicines.
Yes,
you know, the first medicines.
They're even the derivatives of the synthetic medicines that's being pumped into the communities.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. Aspirin.
Okay.
Aspirin comes from white willow bark.
White willow bark?
That's from a willow tree.
From a willow tree?
There are plenty of willow trees in Detroit.
Wow. Girl, where we get a willow tree from?
Go look.
So if I have a headache, am I
it's
just going to take a
bark,
branch?
It's just the bark
and boil
of the tree.
it in some
boil
water
it and drink it.
water? What? So what you think, girl?
That's absolutely true. If I'm not mistaken, what was it like in the either late 1700s or the early 1800s where it was derived. And they were using white willow. And aspirin, one thing about it we want to keep in mind, it's a blood thinner. That's why they put you on, sometimes it'll be either a baby aspirin, because it works as a blood thinner. In protecting
but it says
the heart.
that, so we said
so
that
usually,
it's
I'll say
heart.
this, usually, it's sometimes.
I didn't mean to do air quotes.
No, air quotes is good.
Usually when you have, let's say we normally take aspirin for a headache. Usually what's going on in the body is the blood is pumping so hard through the vessels, but it's thick, so it's slowing it down, so it's creating that pressure, that throbbing sensation because it's trying to move through there. So when you take an aspirin, it thins the blood so that, first of all, the headache dissipates. And then the blood continues to flow where it's going. The only problem with that is you never know if there's a blood clot in there somewhere.
Ooh.
That's the scary part. So taking aspirins that's not only thinning the blood or taking some synthetical form of, whatever medicine is, sometimes you don't know what is floating in your blood. And so for me, from a holistic standpoint, if you are already ingesting herbs that keep the blood pure, that cleanses the blood, that cleanses the lymph system, that cleanses the digestive system. When you already have herbs in the body that's helping the functions of the body move and operate how they're supposed to, then I'm less likely to worry about if I sip on a cup of willow bark tea, what other side effects am I going to experience? What other problems am I creating in my body? Now, I'm not saying Western medicine is not useful. It is very useful in some situations.
And if I may interject here, when it comes to that, you're absolutely right. In my practice, and for so many years now, I always like to give this example. And because of HIPAA, I can't give too much specificity, but I will tell you, I have experienced patients that we had one patient that she went off of her blood pressure medication because she had gone the holistic way. There are contraindications to everything that we do.
Absolutely.
So she had gone off her medication, her blood pressure medication, and she had gone the holistic way, and she did have aneurysm, and she died. Now let me say this: when it comes to holistic, I am a believer of it, and the reason why I'm a believer of it is because we do know, like you mentioned earlier, and you're absolutely right. Both of you are right that these herbs come from the ground, and most of them are synthesized. And we know that salicylic acid is the chemical compound in white willow that's aspirin. So we know that whether you're sipping on white willow or you're actually taking the synthetic version of it, which is aspirin, they both work as blood thinners. Now the thing is, a blood thinner can dissolve a clot. and that's the whole purpose of taking one. But let me say this. Let me say this, because you have other medications that work in that function, in that aspect as well. But what we do, we just have to be careful that we don't have people dumping their medication. Now, are we over medicated? Yeah, we are. And one thing about me, I'm very, very vocal about how over medicated we are in this society, because if we were to eat a plant-based diet, and what do I mean by that? Make sure that over half of your plate, and if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook and my upcoming television show, you will see that I recommend eating plants. And I'm not talking about half of your plate being starchy vegetables, like potatoes and corn. I'm speaking of green leafy vegetables. You want to make sure these are vegetables that grow from the ground, that grow on top of the ground. Because a lot of the tubers that are starchier, they grow in the ground, like your potatoes that you pull up. So you want to make sure that you're eating a plant-based diet, half of that. If you work with how you're eating and what you're eating, and I know you obviously definitely can speak to that, then what happens is you give your body a chance. These are raw materials that we need. There are still so much about vegetables and foods that grow naturally that we still don't know about everything that's there. For example, the tomato, if I'm not mistaken, the tomato, they pulled the tomato apart, I want to say about maybe about 25 years ago. And they found 10,000 components in one tomato that they still were unidentified. That's where we get phytochemicals from. So if you have one fruit, because tomato is technically, botanically a fruit. It's a fruit.
So I can just eat it like...
Yes. That's how I eat tomatoes and cucumbers.
What kind of tomato?
Any kind.
Any of them.
Now what about fried tomatoes? Can I still fry the green tomatoes?
I recommend gluten-free, but that's a whole nother subject.
Wait, it's gluten-free tomatoes?
No.
Wait, what are you telling me?
What you said?
I don't know. Okay?
You said a fried tomato. So if you're talking about a fried tomato, then obviously there's a batter.
There's a batter like corn.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And you want to make sure that the batter is gluten.
So can I use cornstarch?
I would say
or cornmeal.
Yeah.
I use cornmeal. Okay, that's all I want.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of flours out there.
Now back to what you were saying in terms of you went to you just went down like boop 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 about the blood.
Yeah.
Okay, the blood still works, y'all.
It does.
Okay, and we all got blood running through our bodies. Now excuse my vernacular for my little ratchet verbiage, but we all got blood running through our bones and bodies and veins, and we want to make sure that it's running. And you talk about blood clots, which cause aneurysms, and we know so many people who have dealt with aneurysms, and so many people that are stressed out. The brain stressed out from just life, stressed out. You have all these people that are running their businesses now. Being an entrepreneur is like opening up a beauty salon. Like everybody want to be an entrepreneur. Everybody want to do something. I'm no shade to nobody, but you have to have a certain type of mindset and armadillo skin if you decide that you actually want to step out on your own and become an entrepreneur, because it's not easy.
It's not.
And it's not fun. It's not always glamorous the way that they put it in a 59-second video on Instagram. Or a picture. And so I want to go back to that in terms of what would you recommend, because your client that passed away, they dabbled into holistic.
What she did was she stopped taking her blood pressure medicine in lieu of holistic. And again, I don't know and this is not just one. It's been a few patients, but the one thing that I don't want to do is demonize the holistic way, because there is, for both, like you mentioned, and I appreciate you saying that, when it comes to Western medicine, there's a time and place for that, and there's also a time and place for holistic medicine.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, how do you balance that? Because how do you,
that's
for
a
person,
really good question. That is a really balance in it. Like I said, to utilize for those people, because at this point I'm collecting my clients to participate in my health coaching program.
And just get data and research.
Yes, and not only that, but as we're transitioning them into a healthier lifestyle, we work with their doctors.
Okay.
So
perfect.
We don't say, cut the doctor off.
Which we necessary.
Are the supplement to whatever is going on. But at the same time, we do understand that doctors and nurses these days do not have time to hand walk their patients. That's where I come in.
They don't.
And we sit down and we deliberately and clearly go over a plan where we're using both remedies. And the Western remedy and the holistic remedies, they're working together. And then eventually, eventually as you continue on your journey, you change the way you think because your healing starts in the mind.
Yes.
Your healing does not start with the doctor. It doesn't start with a herb. It starts in your mind. Okay. Do you want to be healed?
Yes.
Do you want to be whole? Do you want to be
change?
healthy?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel good? If you want to feel good, then you have to be proactive in your health. I said that when we first started. You have to be proactive. The only role that I play is keeping you accountable for what we set in place for you to achieve holistically and just health overall wellness.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we work I use herbs. I do use herbs. I'm a huge fan, huge promoter of herbs. But we work with herbs that do not affect or influence if they are blood pressure medicine or diabetic insulin and things like that. Yeah. We work with herbs that easily assimilate to the body, but does not disrupt what that medicine is supposed to be doing. But here's the beauty of it. When you're working with the herbs, the body will naturally heal itself. Yeah. It will naturally find a way to purge itself and things like that. We do it every day. Crying, snot, spit.
God, I just cried yesterday.
We do it every day, trying to purge the body of the toxins that we are constantly inundated with.
Right.
But with the herbs, it's just this little bolt. A little car. Yeah. It's kind of driving through your system like, oh, I'll take that, I'll take that, and then we're gonna dump this so that you can eliminate it out of the body.
So how does a person ease their way? Because say for instance you do have a client who does have blood pressure medication. How do they ease their way into?
How do they transition?
Not even transition. Not even transition, but just say for instance, take for instance Miss Champion. She's a diabetic, and she's been a diabetic all her life. How would she add to the insulin that she needs?
Okay, so she's still taking her
She's
insulin.
still taking her insulin. How would she include what would she start off with? Because people don't know what to start off with. Do I go get some spinach? We
definitely start off with food. Food is your let food be thy medicine.
That's a prophecy.
What? They don't be so scrumptious.
But that also dates back to Imhotep. Okay. Which is the original father of medicine back in Egyptian times. This guy literally was the first physician. He was the first multifaceted genius in the world. He knew how to do it all.
And what's his name?
Imhotep.
Imhotep, y'all. Yeah. Imhotep. I don't know how to spell it. Just say Google, give me Imhotep.
IMHOTEP.
You heard it.
She spelled it. There you go.
So what usually happens is we start to look at the food. Again, we're working in hand with the doctors. So, the doctors say, okay, they can't be specific all the time. They're overloaded with patients.
Absolutely.
So they say, no, you just need to change your diet. You need to do this. You need to do that. And the person is like, well, what am I doing? Where am I going? What do I need to eat? That's where I come in and I get very specific. We need to take certain things out of the diet that is not healthy for you. Absolutely. And we need to make sure that you're eating all colors of the rainbow. Food. All the colors of the rainbow need to be on your plate. But there are some things that you absolutely can't take. Now, I personally don't go into detail to remedy anybody.
Because you need to have a consultation.
Yeah, absolutely. But it starts with your food. It starts with your food. It starts with your water. Okay. Making sure that you are properly hydrated.
Pop is not a supplement of water.
Is not a supplement.
Gatorade, no, you need to have water. And I know people hate drinking water. They hate drinking water. Yeah. And I need you to understand, in order for you to survive, your body is what, 90% of water?
Oh, no,
it's 80%.
No, the older you are, the less of the percentage. Okay. So if you're an elderly person, it's anywhere between 60 and 70%. Okay. If you're an infant, it's more like 80%. Okay. 85. That's why.
So what about us in our 30s?
We're anywhere between 70 and 75%.
Okay. So but you need water, is what she's saying.
You gotta stay hydrated.
You gotta stay hydrated.
Look at your urine.
Yes. Yeah. Now speaking of that. Because you're listening to, I said it before, I take it back, I'm going to add more to it, and I know you heard me the first time. Okay. People don't understand that your urine, your poop.
Oh, I love talking about poop.
Oh, yeah, it's my favorite one.
You have to understand that your health.
Probiotics.
you know about your health through your urine, how it smells, the discoloration of it, your poop, if it's hard for you to get it out, how often you go, the coloration of your poop, just how often, did I say often?
You said it again.
Often. If you going days without doing the number 2, that's a problem.
Or too many days in one day. Or too many times in one day.
Or too many times in one day, or your stool is loose. And so we have to get to a point where we're comfortable with talking about what's going on with our bodies and not ignoring it or being ashamed. We are not here to body shame anyone, and we're not here to poke the blame, but what we are here to do is to educate you and provide you with this knowledge so that not only you're whole, but you're teaching your family the right way to live and the right habits to obtain. And so I want to go into the poop and the pee, and then you have an event coming up.
I do.
And you have a talk show coming up.
I do.
And I'm gonna be on your talk show. I'm sure she's probably gonna be on it now.
I'm excited about it.
So we're gonna go from the poo and the pee to what's meant to be. Okay. So let's go with you, future doctor.
Okay.
Because those are some of the first things that you talk about when it comes to a client, and I know that people are more prevalent to think about it when they have a baby. When you have a baby, you're more, the baby's constipated, or you're watching the poop, but then you become an adult, or your child becomes an adolescent, you don't think about it anymore. And so, I remember grandma back in the day, but like, have a little bit of this castor oil,
or prunes or something
prune
like that.
Juice from back in the day. A lot of senior saints. Shout out to all the senior saints, the geriatrics. They wanted to make sure that the poo was good. Thank you, grandma.
Right. We needed that.
They knew it. They understood.
They understood motherland.
It's veggie. I love it though. It's so important to make sure that we're having appropriate bowel movements.
Okay.
And bowel movements,
how you. That was so professional. Appropriate bowel movements. I was gonna say something else.
That's okay.
The saints be watching my show. But keep going.
Yeah, but it's so important because, again, we talk about how busy we can get. And you think about it, you want to make sure, that is one of the first questions that I ask clients.
Okay.
When is the last time you had a bowel, even when I do presentations, when is the last time you had a bowel movement? And I have a chart that I show them. It's a poop chart. So it has, it's like from 1 to 10. Which one does your poop look like on this chart? Number 4, I don't have a chart, obviously, with me.
Can you send it to me so I can repost it?
Absolutely.
So people can know what their poop should look like and what if it's not looking right.
It should be smooth, no cracks, usually with like one long piece, similar to a banana with no cracks in it, smooth. If we have cracks, then we may be looking at some, dehydration issues with that.
Okay.
And then if it's, too runny, then it may have too much fluid.
Okay.
And we know that some foods can be highly what is called osmotic.
Okay.
It pulls a lot of fluid into the gastrointestinal tract. And there's so many reasons why we would have high osmolality inside of our gastrointestinal tract causing diarrhea. So many different reasons for that.
Okay.
Food allergies, food sensitivities. I know we were talking off camera that we're both gluten-free, right?
I'm working on it.
She's transitioning.
I'm working on it.
I've been gluten-free for 6 years. That's one of my areas of expertise: celiac disease, non-celiac gluten sensitivity, food allergies and sensitivities, and also diabetes, because it all ties in, and autoimmunity. So it's very important to make sure, because what we believe is happening now with our bowel movements, and that can tell the story with our entire body.
Yeah, because fast food ain't food.
It's not food. That's a whole nother. Oh my God, it's not
a whole
food.
other show.
It is not food.
You chili cheese fried wing ding dinner, Texas toast eating folks.
Not food.
But I ain't gonna dog you out, because I grew up on chili cheese fries and a little bit of McDonald's and a Big Mac and.
But the thing is, I don't know about you guys, because I'm older than you guys. I'm in my 40s.
You look good, girl. Look, I look forward to it.
I know. When I was a kid, I can recall my sister and me. My dad would take us to McDonald's once every 6 months, but now it's becoming a staple, and it's not food. And what's happening is it's changing what is called the microbiome. And I am huge on the microbiome. The microbiome is actually our gut environment. And it's the gut environment based on the microorganisms that live inside of our gut. You have good microbiome and you have bad. Or you have good bacteria and different microorganisms that live in the gut, and then you have bad. We're supposed to have some, and people don't realize this. We should have some of the bad as well, but more of the good. We are about 40 trillion cells in our bodies and about 140 trillion microorganisms. We are more microorganisms than we are cells.
Wow.
So when we look at that, it really makes a difference in terms of how we should be eating, because when we're eating, we are feeding either the good guys or the bad guys. And the thing is, that inoculation of the bacteria of the good guys.
Inoculation. You better get your inoculations together. Listen, you're listening to I said it before I take it back. I'm going to add more to it. If you're just tuning in, I have future Dr. Lana Coxton, and I have the wellness coach, Rachel Newsom, in the building. And we're talking about our poo and our pee. Now, don't be ashamed of your body. We're trying to help you with longevity so you can live and you're not dying in your 40s and your 30s because you're not eating properly. Fast food is not a meal that is substantial to you living a long, healthy life. But keep going. So you went from pee and poo, and then so now, and inoculation. Inoculation. You gotta do it like that. The hand move. You know what I'm saying? Inoculation.
I just want to say one thing before we go, because I'm looking forward to your response as well. Really am. When I was just mentioning inoculation, a lot of times we don't realize that babies are born sterile. And what happens is they're inoculated with the good bacteria from their mom once they pass through the vaginal canal, and also with nursing. And then beyond that, so many different aspects occur. Studies are coming out that children with siblings, they have a tendency to have better gut microbiome because of the siblings. And so many studies. It's absolutely exciting what's going on right now in the microbiome.
Wow. Girl, I don't even know what that world is, but I'm trying to get in it.
Well, you got one.
Well, listen, first of all, y'all, let me tell you something. When I stopped eating all of that junk, let me tell you something. I was 220 pounds. I think you remember I had a chin, I had extra arm fat, back fat. My son took a video of me from the back seat, and no shade, Mama, I love you, R.I.P. You know you're my girl. But my mom was obese, and growing up, my siblings were all a little much healthier than I am in terms of bigger. And I was always the smaller one. And so I noticed that my life had started transitioning. I had went and got married. You gain that married weight, and you get comfortable. Then you get a divorce. You gain this depressed weight. You go through your transitions. And so I just stopped caring. I just was eating whatever I could eat because I was hungry, drinking whatever I could drink, on the go. And so I could feel tired. I could feel my heart palpitating longer and harder than what it needed to be. I was getting all these headaches. I was getting dizzy going upstairs, coming downstairs. I'm just like, something ain't right. Something is not working in me the way that it's supposed to. And I've always been a healthy person, always been an athletic person. And so as my body started doing these transitions, I'm like, what's going on? As well as my poop and my pee. Like I was smelling myself like, girl, you took a bath. You shouldn't be smelling like this. And I say that to say, because it's your girl Jaja, you listening to I said it before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. We have to get to a point where we are comfortable with telling the truth. Yes. We try to lie about what's happening within us to not feel ashamed or embarrassed, but that will save your life. Absolutely. And when I was telling my doctor, like, something is not going on with me, even from your breath to your poop and pee. Those are all things that are dealing with internal. And so tell me, wellness coach, because the ovulations, inoculations, and the microbiomes, you got the clinician's point of view. So you tell me, wellness goddess of the motherland. What do people need to do to help with the transition of making sure that their urine is the way it needs to be, their poop is the way? What are some things that they need to eat, some things they need to do? And yoga is a big part of that intestines, getting that stuff to moving. Because I had colonoscopy?
Oh, you did?
I did. I had the one on Grand River, the place on Grand River.
Oh, colonoscopy?
No, not colonoscopy. What is colonic?
Colonic? It's colon hydrotherapy for it.
Well, tell me, girl, because
I had colostomy. You should have one of those.
I was about to say.
They're checking for polyps or anything?
I just had my colon cleansed.
Okay, that's just a colon hydrotherapy.
And she was talking about parasites. It was in your poop and all of that. I was like, girl,
those are the microorganisms that Lana was talking about. So And sometimes if you feed the wrong guys, they grow.
Okay.
They multiply. And I mean multiply by the millions, by the thousands and the millions. And then
dysbiosis.
Yeah, and then that's what you end up now you're dealing with even more, health concerns and issues because now these things have grown out of control.
Okay. So what do they do to prevent that? What can
honestly,
they, other than drinking water?
I will go through this. I will go through the 3 pillars of Crown's on. You have to be eating whole foods.
What does that mean?
Whole foods meaning, I'll give it to you like this. Those foods that don't have labels to tell you what's in it.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to read 1,000 ingredients to figure out what's in it. It's one thing in it. That's a sweet potato. That's a green bean. That's lettuce. That's kale. That's spinach. There's nothing else in it. When you start to eat
it's self-explanatory.
It's very self-explanatory. Water. That's it. I'll even go as far as saying spring water, just for regular maintenance of the body.
So what do you think about alkaline?
Alkaline, okay, this is my favorite topic, you guys. Okay. Alkaline water, I am a promoter of it, but for specific reasons. If you are detoxing, if you are doing a cleanse or a fast of some sort, alkaline water is your friend because it neutralizes the extra acid in the body, and it brings the pH balance. It helps to kind of regulate your pH balance.
So let me ask you this, because I love having this discussion about alkaline water. So
I feel like a doctor.
From a clinical aspect, you've heard of alkalinity versus acidity.
Yes.
From a clinical standpoint, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
someone has a lot of diarrhea, they become acidotic. Because what happens is you're losing sodium bicarb when you poop. So you lose a lot of bicarb and also potassium.
Yes.
So what happens is your blood the pH starts to change towards the acidic side because you're losing alkaline, which is sodium bicarb. So in that instance, I'm like, oh yeah, alkaline water would be good. Now, on the flip side of that, what do you think now when someone's vomiting, they're losing hydrochloric acid. So if you're losing hydrochloric acid, then the opposite will occur where you have more of an alkaline affecting your blood. And then maybe not so much with alkaline water. Does that kind of make sense?
It definitely does.
Okay.
There's a balance to it. For me, when I tell people, if you are, like say you eat meat, you drink dairy.
No, I don't mess around with the dairy.
No, not you, but I'm just saying those individuals who still eat meat that are not cultured properly, and then you're eating, you're consuming dairy products, sometimes eggs as well.
Depending on how the eggs were, how the hens and the chickens were raised.
Exactly. So when you're dealing with that stuff, your body...
you got us on here.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Open up
Listen, I'm just trying to live right. It didn't change. I don't even know what to eat. I'm just going to go get some icicles. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
What to eat. But when it comes to those things, again, if you're doing a detox, a cleanse of some sort, I do promote, if you have been consuming those products, do you get you some alkaline water?
Yeah.
Drink it for, I say 7 to 10 days as you're doing your cleanse, okay? But once you are done with your cleanse, I recommend spring water. Okay. Spring water has naturally occurring minerals in it, and your body is made up of 102 minerals.
Yes.
So if you're drinking spring water, exactly, that's why you're so beautiful.
Don't forget about the bacteria too.
Exactly. So if you are, and a lot of us are walking around mineral and vitamin deficient,
especially vitamin D.
Oh yeah. Oh,
that's a whole other story.
So for me, because I don't know if I'm lactose intolerant, but I know that as I've become older,
they can do a hydrogen test. It's a breath test to determine if you're lactose intolerant. Most African Americans are, because we did not cultivate the cow in Africa, and the lactase enzyme that splits the lactose, which is the sugar. We have a lactose intolerant. That is a disaccharide. It's a sugar. Okay. And the lactase enzyme that's made in the villi of the small intestines, it splits that disaccharide into two simple sugars. And what happens is, if it's not split, when we talked about osmolarity earlier and high osmosis with water, so what happens is, if it's not split and you have this big sugar that's supposed to be split and taken up by the villi in smaller sugar units, what happens is it's a big sugar and it's a high osmotic. So you have all of this fluid that comes in to try to wash it out. Not to mention, because it's a big sugar, you have the bad guys in your gut that start to chomp on it. That's what causes the gas and the bloating.
So what do I do for the vitamin D? Would I need to go get a vitamin D
just take a vitamin D.
A vitamin D?
Vitamin D3.
Vitamin D3, y'all.
5,000. Get it tested first.
What can I eat?
That and also because we don't live in a tropic area.
Yeah. Okay.
Vitamin D comes from the sun.
Yes,
well.
and I love the sun.
Okay.
But what about people who have lupus though? Because they can't be in the sun.
They cannot. And if you don't mind, when it comes to vitamin D, it's a very metabolically active vitamin. It's actually a hormone.
Yes.
It's not a vitamin. It's a hormone, but it's classified as vitamin D. But what happens is, yes, it does come from the sun, and it has to do with cholesterol at the surface of the skin.
Okay.
So it's inactive vitamin D. That's why if they have very, very low vitamin D levels, you want to keep your vitamin D levels above 50. I like above 60 if there's autoimmunity.
Okay.
When there's autoimmunity, vitamin D is used up readily. But what happens is with that vitamin D, it's not metabolically active when the sun hits it. It has to go through the liver and the kidneys to be hydroxylated. In order for it to be utilizable, it has to be hydroxylated. So if you have someone that maybe there's something going on with the liver, and I'm sure you deal with liver detoxification, if there's a lot going on with the liver, if there's something going on with the kidneys, they may not go through those final steps to hydroxylate that vitamin D and get it hormonally active.
So you need to go outside.
You need to go outside,
or
you need to
get a vitamin D.
I say, look, the clinician says to take it. I recommend that you get your vitamin D levels tested. I've had clients.
Where would they go to get these tests?
The doctor.
What doctors do you recommend? Because some people go to doctors. They don't really, and no shade to any doctors out there in the doctor land.
We love our doctors.
However, some doctors.
We have holistic MDs too.
Yes. So where could people go, or where do you recommend? I know I had a coworker who recommended a lady named Dr. Phyllis. She's over on
Is she an MD or DO?
I think she's OBGYN. So
okay, that's MD. That's MD.
Yeah.
That's
So who would you guys recommend to go get some things tested out? I know they're gonna come to y'all. Make sure y'all flood them. Don't flood me with none of these questions, because I'm just gonna reiterate what they told me.
That's what I comes in.
And so I'm gonna direct them to you. But after they come to you all, where could they go?
That's a yearly physical. Because now we're talking about a blood test. So your vitamin D, that is a yearly physical. If you have a propensity towards low vitamin D, like a lot of African Americans do,
where would they go?
To their doctor.
So what doctors would you recommend?
If you have an OBGYN that you're seeing for whatever reason, any medical doctor or DO can check your blood for vitamin D.
And so you have to ask for these.
Some doctors already test it. You have a lot of physicians now, because we know the implications of having vitamin D deficiency over a long period of time. The implications for that, because your gut can't even heal without vitamin D. Yeah. If you're trying to heal and restore your gastrointestinal tract that's anywhere from 20 to 23 feet long, it cannot heal and stay healed without vitamin D, especially if you have a condition like celiac or any autoimmunity. The gut lining cannot heal or stay healed without it. So a lot of doctors automatically check vitamin D, and they want to see what those levels are. I've had patients, vitamin D as low as 7. You have no vitamin D. And it also maintains calcium levels as well. So much with vitamin D. Absolutely. So if your doctor isn't actively checking your vitamin D, either yearly or twice a year, depending on how low you were, then you need to request, check my vitamin D.
Well, a lot of people don't know to even ask those questions, so thank you, Jaja, for even having this topic
thank you.
right now.
So you're listening to I said it, and before I take it back, they're going to add more to it. Okay?
And so now we know, hopefully you all are absorbing the information and learning that it's okay to ask questions at the doctor's office. Don't just sit there and take what they're saying, because if you never tell them what's wrong, they may not figure out what's wrong. They may just,
Drop it up and
just say that you're healthy and you're walking around with something else. So always, first of all, stay proactive in your health.
Yes.
And at the same time, stay aware of your body. Stay in contact with yourself. Stop worried about everybody else. Stay in tune with yourself. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's going on with your body, with your elimination processes and things like that? What is happening with you? You have to stay abreast of that. Otherwise, you'll go to the doctor and don't know what they're saying. And you're like, so what that mean?
And one more thing, just with vitamin D, some people, if they're really low, and you guys probably are aware of this, the doctor will prescribe 50,000 international units once a week, and that's actually vitamin D2. If you go to the store, Vitamin Shop, or even CVS, and you buy vitamin D, just make sure it says D3. But most of the time it does, and that is the active D3. That's once the liver and kidney have done their hydroxylation steps. It's done. So that's the one that's metabolically active when you take it, vitamin D3. Vitamin D2 is not completely active because it still requires that step from the kidneys. And the kidneys does the last step of hydroxylation for vitamin D. So just make sure if the doctor, and a lot of times I'll have clients and patients, they'll say, well, the doctor has me on 50,000 IUs once per week. I'm like, well, you must have been very low. And when I get their labs, I'll see that their vitamin D may have been 7 or 10, which is very low. And the doctor wants to get it up as fast as they can, and that's why they do the 50,000 IUs once per week. And they'll have them on that anywhere from 3, 4, 6 months, maybe not even 6 months, maybe a couple of months just to kind of get the levels up. And then the doctor will transition them over to an over-the-counter. And I take 5,000 international units of vitamin D3 every single day.
That's beautiful.
Because with me being gluten-free and having issues with gluten and also dairy as well as you, I'm lactose intolerant like most African Americans. A lot of us, I think it's 90% is very high. But then I also have an issue with the casein protein as well, not even just the A2, A1. I can't tolerate dairy. Every now and then I'll have gluten-free pizza from Renee's Gourmet Pizzeria. Shout out to you guys.
Renee.
Shout out to you guys and some of the other restaurants that do it very well. If you guys need to know, just reach out to me.
Now, speaking of restaurants, you have an event coming up, Crowns On Movement.
Yes, Crowns On
is this weekend.
It is. Crowns On presents Dining with Vegans.
Crowns On presents Dining with Vegans. So for those of you that aren't vegan, or those of you that are vegan, those of you that would like more information about being a vegan, I definitely encourage you. So tell us about that event.
Yeah, so this is our second year doing it.
Yes, second anniversary. Hey.
Yeah, so this is our second year doing it, and we are covering everything from transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle, the budget, different foods, oils, herbs, all of that stuff.
Where they can go.
Yeah, everything. And even we're offering some services where we will come out and basically help you shop.
Okay. Yes. Push it to the limit. Push it next.
So this weekend is actually Sunday, October 28th.
This Sunday.
From 5 to 8 p.m. It's going to be at Area 313.
So y'all can still go to church. So don't be talking about I can't go. No, it's from 5 to 8.
5 to 8. You can register at bit.ly/dining with vegans.
Or you can just go to her Facebook page and she'll direct you to where you need to go. Or your Instagram, and she'll direct you how to get the ticket.
Absolutely.
This Sunday from 5 to 8.
Yes. So we have live food demos. I'll be cooking most of the food.
Yes.
We'll
Chef Rachel.
Chef
Rachel.
I'm not a chef, but I love to cook, and I love to just kind of help the skeptics understand, like, vegan food doesn't have to taste like cardboard doo-doo.
It does, because I've ate some of her food that she's cooking. It was really good. She had me. Listen, and I love to eat, y'all.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. We have some raffles and things like that.
So tell us about the event again.
So the event is just simply Dining with Crowns On presents Dining with Vegans. It is October 28th at 5 p.m. from 5 to 8. The tickets are $25, but it does include whole foods. We are doing whole plates of food. So there's no samples. There will be actual meals. We're doing soup, salad, sandwiches, desserts. We're talking about breakfast, what to do for breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yes.
We're covering the budget if you're looking to transition. And again, I'm not a vegan Nazi. I'm not out here trying to convince people to stop doing what they're doing completely. Because some people still need those habits and rituals until they can properly transition into healthier rituals. So we're just talking about, it's an open dialogue where we're just going to be chatting and chewing.
Yes, chatting and chewing. Chatting and chewing. Okay. What's what? They're going to be chatting and chewing. You heard it here on I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I got the future Dr. Lana Coxton in the building. And I got the wellness coach, Rachel Newsom.
Yes.
Newsom, right? I said it right. Okay. And so the Crowns On Movement, which is your business, is having an event this Sunday from 5 to 8. And where's it going to be again?
Area 313.
Area 313. You can check her out on her Facebook as well as her Instagram. So that way you can find out more of the details and how you can get a ticket and how you can also promote it. Now, if you can't come, that don't mean you can't screenshot her flyer and post it, okay? Especially if you love these ladies, okay? Let's repost the things that we're doing and share it amongst other people. Because just because you may not be able to participate or come, or if you can, buy a ticket, give it to somebody. We have to make sure that we are building each other up and not tearing each other down or creating obstructions to stop other people from fulfilling their destinies. Because you already know God gonna let it happen anyway, even with you being in the way. You have a talk show coming up.
I do.
That you're in production.
I'm in production right now. Shout out to Derek, nephew, Dollar Jones.
Yeah, Red Wire.
Yeah.
Me and him had a little issue, but we cool. You still my boy.
All right now.
You still the best. DJ Khaled voice.
He is. And, it's Nutrition Talk with Lana.
Okay.
And we are debuting the second week in January. So yes, we are very excited. We're doing a lot of interviews. We got some great special guests on the show, and I'm very excited about this
upcoming season. And so you're going to be on what station?
Rhema Television Network, RTN, Bishop Lloyd.
Okay, so you're going to listen. She's going to be on RTN. She's going to be on TV,
Yeah.
y'all. We're going to be on TV. I'm going to be on TV. She's going to be on TV.
That's how we
so
do.
now y'all got some TV, some good
That's
TV
right.
to watch, okay?
Thank you.
And then now you got your wellness coach,
That's
just
right.
in case you want to make sure you eat what you're supposed to eat.
It's a trio.
Listen, okay?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Okay?
She said trifecta.
I'm gonna get that as a tattoo. I don't know what that looks like. That just sounds
good.
Now, I want to talk about really quick.
Okay.
We have a lot of man-made illnesses and diseases like ADHD, autism. Just came out of nowhere. And so I want to talk a little bit about those people who. And as well as mental illness, because those are all the things that we don't really want to talk about.
Yes.
We stray away from. We'll talk about diabetes. We'll talk about, stillborns. We'll talk about cervical cancer, stroke, fibroid tumors. We'll talk about those things because they're a little bit broad. But we don't talk about those things that make us cringe or make us feel shame, like poop and pee, like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm an advocate of pushing the envelope to make people talk, to get those things out. And so we have a lot of parents who have children with autism, and then they have a normal child, and I don't say normal as into a child with autism, but I say that with they have a regular life.
Special needs.
Special needs. And then you have someone who is dealing with mental illness, depression, and anxiety. They're dealing with thoughts of suicide or stresses. And so let's talk a little bit about that. I ain't trying to go deep, and I ain't mean to change the level of the energy.
Okay.
But I want to talk about that only because my father committed suicide. He committed suicide the day after Thanksgiving. And then we have so many family members that are in prison, that are incarcerated. We have so many single mothers that are trying to raise children, single fathers that are trying to raise children on their own. And they're just trying to overcompensate. Then you have people who are married and it feels like they're in a single parent household. Right. And so they don't want to talk about those challenges, because I was at a point where I wanted to commit suicide because of just all the stuff that I was just dealing with. I mean, it was hitting me hard, like boom, boom, boom. Because I went from being married to having a divorce, to my mom getting sick, to my mom dying, to me having guardianship of my brothers and sisters, still being a mother. People forgot that I was a mother with my own child. And then just transitioning from being a deputy county clerk, having a secure 2-week check, to being an entrepreneur, putting all of what I have into this business and hoping that the return on my investment, and it doesn't look like what it should look like. And then my brother gets killed in prison, and then I have to close my shop down. So things just happen, and those are just my issues. There's so many people out here that are dealing with way worse things than I'm dealing with, or having to deal with. And so I want to talk a little bit about those things, because you deal with yoga.
Yes.
And I don't know what you turned me into, but I'll be in my room, y'all, and I'll feel a kink, and I'll get to stretching and breathing, and and I went to school for massage therapy, so our stuff is kind of coinciding with the relaxation and just taking those energies and those chakras and dealing with certain things and moving them around, as well as with the intestines. People don't know to move that stuff around, and that water and all those things get your body moving. So if we could talk a little bit about that, and tell me a little bit about your yoga and just breathing, how we deal with the people who are dealing with these issues: autism, ADHD, mental illness, some remedies, some prevention, something that can help with that.
Absolutely. First things first is being aware that something isn't right. Okay, understanding that you are feeling or thinking something that it may terrify you, or it may come off as inappropriate to society, but having no outlet is where we get hung up.
Yeah. Because I even went to therapy. I had to. I needed it.
Oh yeah, and that was a beautiful outlet because otherwise you're left to your own devices. You're not equipped to handle your issues when they're bombarded like that. Like when you're bombarded like that.
You can only have so many conversations with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, right?
Absolutely. But one thing that I've learned is our breath is so vitally important. And it's not just important for your animation of this physical form, but it's your connection to that inner self. It's your connection to God, the universe, however you want to determine that entity to be. And so learning how to connect with that allows you to open the mind, open the body, release that stuff, that stagnant energy that holds the memories, that holds the disease, that whole it helps you to slowly start to open those things up and purge the body. But again, having support, having a yoga teacher available, having a psychologist available, having a therapist, having a friend available to help you through those will definitely help you. So with yoga and meditation, yoga and meditation is a powerful combination. Not only do we learn how to breathe properly, we incorporate that into moving the body, opening up, stretching the fascia, making the fascia usually the fascia is that thing that holds us together, that holds this physical form together, and however you look is based on what is happening with your fascia. Okay? But
make sure your fascia is together, y'all.
But when you start to do yoga, when you start to stretch, when you start to do any body movement, you disrupt whatever energy is sitting there stagnant.
No, go to the couch.
Yeah, it hurt. And we've gotten so far away from being in our childlike states. Children are the prime example of what you should be when you are 60, 70.
That's why I love God.
When we stay active, a body in motion stays in motion. You know, we've seen that commercial, but that saying is very true. A body in motion stays in motion. And so what we do is we incorporate our breathing with just moving the body in ways that challenge the muscles, the ligaments, you know, and it also helps to facilitate the proper function of our digestive tract. You know, we squeeze when we go into like a forward fold. We're squeezing those, you know, intestines, and we're moving. We're helping massage all of that stuff in there to help them function properly.
Peristalsis.
Girl, it's what?
Peristaltic. You got your peristaltic movement with the muscles.
Listen, these queens is hitting me with these terms, y'all. Y'all know I'm a sapiosexual. I love knowledge. These words, girl. Listen, I'm not a lesbian gay, but they is just giving me all these words, okay? Listen, I'm trying to tell you. Yes. So the yoga is and meditation, and those are some of the ways that. And how would somebody be able to get in contact with you to set up a consult?
Definitely.
To work with you, and they're saying, you know, Jai, Rach, I need some help. Like I'm stressed out. I'm dealing with something right now. How can you help me?
I have actually a couple different avenues. You can call me directly. I give my phone number out to any and everybody. I also have videos on Facebook and YouTube. So if you don't have access, or if you haven't quite figured out how to call me or text me, you can go on YouTube, Crowns on Movement, and watch a yoga video, watch a meditation video, things like that. But I am a hands-on individual.
Yes, you are.
Okay? Your healing is very important to me, and it has to be just as important to you. Like, I can't heal you without your help.
Absolutely.
And so,
I like that. I can't heal you without your help.
Yes. So basically, you can Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, Gmail, crownsonmovement@gmail.com. You can also go to our website, www.crownsonmovement.com. And just take a gander around. And again, my information is available. I love talking to people. I love just the human contact, because we've gotten so far away from it with technology that we don't know how to sit down and have conversations anymore. We don't know how to be in person anymore. And so with me, or for me, just being a yoga teacher and being able to influence you to move and activate your own personal energy, your own personal power, is rewarding for me. So.
Absolutely. So they can reach out to you, Crowns on Movement, y'all. Just hashtag it, Google it, you'll find her. The face will pop up. Now, for you, when you're dealing with the ADHD, the autism, the mental illness, the stresses of life, people don't know what to do.
Yeah, what I typically recommend, you know, and it can become overwhelming for all of us, right? Mental illness. But typically what I recommend for patients to do, and I usually speak with the medical team about it, I love the aspect of yoga, exercise, because there are a lot of studies about yoga and exercise. Of course, prayer.
Yeah, yes, Lord Jesus.
Yes,
I'm trying to tell you,
yes,
I was praying to
especially
whoever, the rock, a table. I was just praying, just
Yeah,
universe, somebody hear me.
Yeah, because God is there.
Hallelujah.
We love Him. He sent His Son to die for us.
Okay.
And Jesus Christ, and being a Christian, we're Christians, so we know that that's so applicable. But also, first the things are natural, then the spiritual. So what I always recommend is there's so many studies about the connection. We were talking about food allergies and food sensitivities. There are so many studies, and you guys can go to PubMed and you can just Google celiac and mental health, food allergy sensitivities and mental health. There are so many studies out here about what we eat and how it can affect our brains.
Absolutely.
The brain has a protective covering. It's called the blood-brain barrier. And the blood-brain barrier, it protects the brain from anything entering into the brain that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the blood-brain barrier is like a net. It's the blood vessels, corpuscles, but it's like a net, and it's very protective. But they've done studies on schizophrenic patients, and they have found gluten in the brain. So you eat wheat, rye, barley, and sometimes oats, depending on cross-contamination, but gluten. Gluten is the protein found in those different grains. And for those that are very susceptible, they have found it's considered leaky gut, leaky brain. And we know from a physiological standpoint, that leaky gut, which is known as increased intestinal permeability, it's real. It's not just this term that we hear on the internet or social media. It's an actual medical condition, and we know about that. It's a symptom of something going on. So if your gut is leaky, it's a possibility that your brain is leaky, that that blood-brain barrier may be compromised in allowing proteins to enter. And they have found, they've done studies, and they found gluten inside of the brains of those with schizophrenia. They've also done studies where they've taken patients that are schizophrenic and they put them on a gluten-free diet, and the other patients, they kept them on their medications, and the patients on the gluten-free diet improved.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, obviously, these are studies, and just to give you guys an idea, what we're recommending is, when it comes to mental illness, I mean, you have to, it takes a team. You may need medication, that's up to your physician. Obviously, therapy, physical activity like yoga, relaxation, all of that. Sometimes it takes all of it. It takes a village to help with mental, and especially your family and your friends. You need that. But do not forget about nutrition, because we have to feed the brain, and we have to feed the brain responsibly, and of course appropriately. And always ask, get tested for food allergies, food sensitivities, get tested for celiac disease. And celiac disease is the autoimmune condition against the intake of gluten. And what happens is you have 82% of patients, anywhere between 80 and 85% of people that actually have celiac disease that are either undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. And just because you have it and don't know you don't have it doesn't mean it's not going to affect you. So if there is some type of mental illness, you have some families with children with ADHD, they put them on a gluten-free, dairy-free diet, and they have seen improvement. But that's something that you definitely want to speak to your pediatrician about, your healthcare provider, and just go from there. But I agree with my sister here. Listen, plant-based diet from the beginning. Make sure they're eating foods that God put the food here for us.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? To caveat off of that, I always say a healthy plate equals a healthy mind. They are doing studies, and it's been out there that, like the juvenile delinquents that's locked away, what they've been feeding these babies,
high levels of lead and high levels of copper in the water,
contributes to their behaviors, and as well as adults. And again, here goes our rituals, here goes our family traditions. What are we eating that we consider soul food for so long is contributing to our health, the demise of our health. So yes, that to everything, like your food, honestly, the earth, I tell people all the time, the earth literally gives you what you need.
It's our home,
every season.
Yes.
Every season. If you eat in season, you save money.
Yeah.
And you're eating food that is nutrient dense for the body, that's supposed to that help you operate in that season. We're not just talking about spiritual. Yeah. We're talking about physical, but those two marry each other so well.
Yes, I can't wait. Ooh.
And it's interesting you mentioned about eating, fruits and vegetables, produce in season. Yeah. I always let people know, before we had cars and transportation to move around, and the way California, we live now, we didn't have homes that were heated and things of that nature. So we had our internal heat, which are fat stores. And what I explain to people, the reason why it's very difficult, depending on where you are climate-wise, we're in Michigan, it's very difficult to get the sweeter fruits in the wintertime because the sweet fruits are in the summertime, because when you eat sweet fruits, they increase insulin. Insulin is a fat-storing, hunger-producing hormone. Why do we need that thousands of years ago? Because we needed to eat those sweet fruits to get the insulin going to store fat for the winter. So that was the whole purpose of it. So it makes sense that you want to eat those fruits and those vegetables in season. That produce, it makes a difference. Another thing too, when it comes to the brain, omega-3 fatty acids.
Oh yes,
omega-3s.
So vitamin D3, omega fatty acids,
that's the EPA, DHA,
water,
phenolic acid.
Half the plate need to be
vegetables. For me, gluten-free.
Move your body.
And take a moment to sit in silence. Too often we are caught up in the hustle and bustle of our day. We are trying to keep up with things and people who don't serve us any well. And if we don't learn to sit still and take a breath. We're walking around breathing shallow, breathing into our chest versus our bellies. Our bellies got the most open space for you to breathe in, inhale as much oxygen, send that oxygen through the body. Let it stimulate, let it activate all of the wonderful things that you need, and exhale all, not only just the CO2. The CO2. Exhale.
Talk about that periodic table.
Exhale the negative energy. Exhale the negative thoughts. Exhale anything that no longer serves you. So I would like to, with your permission, if we could just take 3 full breaths.
Oh yes, I love it.
Okay, we're gonna sit up nice and tall. You guys join in.
Listen, y'all listening to I Said It. We about to do a demonstration for y'all live. Okay, don't act like I ain't never gave y'all nothing. Okay, you listen to your girl. I Said It before I take it back. We're gonna add more to it. I got the future Dr. Lana Coxton here in the building. She's got a talk show coming up this new year. I have wellness coach Rachel Newsom in the building. She has an event this Sunday. If you would like to join her, get tickets, buy a ticket for someone, promote her event, make sure that you check her out on her social media platforms. Both of these beautiful queens are available. You have access to them. Utilize their knowledge, okay? You have someone. Stop trying to call Dr. Phil and Oprah. They don't have time to talk to you. So y'all better get with them now before they get too, they ain't gonna be reachable, okay? They listen. You better understand. I ain't gonna be always reachable too, because we trying to elevate, okay? You understand? So we're getting ready to do
a mindful moment.
Mindful moment, okay?
Mindful moment. So we're gonna sit up nice and tall, relax the shoulders. We're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Hold it. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Hold it. This time we're going to exhale through the mouth.
That was sweet.
That was really
just
good.
A moment to sit.
That was sweet. I don't know if you guys were doing it while we were doing it. I hope you were. Listen, it's your girl Jaja. You're listening to I Said It. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Each and every week, you already know where I'm going to be. Listen, I have the future Dr. Lana Coxton in the building. How can they reach you? Where can they find you?
Yes, you can reach me on my website, lanacoxton.com. You can also reach me. I'm on Facebook, Lana Phelps Coxton, and Instagram at RD Lana Coxton. No underscore. Someone hacked my account. So no underscore. And my picture, I'm wearing the lab coat.
Okay. And I also have with me the beautiful Miss Wellness Coach Rachel Newsom. How can they find you? How can they follow you? How can they get in contact?
Absolutely. So www.crownsonmovement.com is the website. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Crowns On.
Listen, you heard it first from these beautiful ladies. We about to get out of here because we about to go do our own thing, okay? I got other clients and stuff to do. We're going to see you next week. And I hope that you replay this video. Make sure you share this video, guys. I need 100 shares, over 100 shares today, because these beautiful ladies have knowledge that you cannot get in a book. Now, there are some books out there that have it, but not all the time. So I need you guys to go out and get this information. I love y'all. Until next week. Peace.
Peace. Bye.